us as a correspondent from Mumbai and sharing that insight. Now we stay in India. India is planning to repatriate around 500 of its nationals who fled from a scam center in Myanmar following a military raid. Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul has confirmed that the Indian government would send a plane to bring back the victims who have been stranded in Thailand's Mae Sot border town. The Myanmar military's operations against the KK Park cybercrime compound have forced over 1,500 people from 28 countries to flee to Mae Sot. The area has become a hotspot for online fraud since the COVID-19 pandemic, with organized criminal gangs, mostly Chinese, ruling large-scale cyber scam operations. These operations have been linked to forced labor, trafficking, with billions of dollars being earned from exploiting thousands of victims. The Indian government is coordinating with Thai authorities to complete the necessary legal procedures and expedite the repatriation quickly. Now we move on to our next news. Pakistan and Afghanistan have agreed to resume talks in Istanbul at the request of mediator Turkey after earlier rounds between Islamabad and Kabul failed to resolve spiraling tensions between the neighbors that have exploded into military clashes in recent weeks. According to reports, the two countries have agreed to resume their talks, which had ended earlier this week after the intervention of host Turkey and mediator Qatar. As per reports, a Pakistani security official has stated that Islamabad will press its central demand at the talks seeking action against militants using Afghanistan's territory as a safe haven and to plan attacks on Pakistani soil, according to Pakistan. Now for this discussion, we welcome back retired Major General Sudhakarji. He's a senior geopolitical and strategic defense expert, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Major General, for staying with us. Now, looking at this, how significant is this that they are going to continue these talks? And what do you think were the main obstacles preventing both sides from addressing their cross-border militancy effectively?
Yeah, Asoma, firstly, the significance of getting back to talk is very, very important, and I say it's of very high order because in 21st century, after having gone through the challenges of pandemic, Russo-Ukraine war is still going on, and the Hamas and the Israel conflict is unending with Operation Sindoor in the background. Pakistan is having worst of times, and virtually it has become borderless, so to say. So therefore, under the circumstances, it is for the larger good rather than resorting to rhetorics and war hysteria, which some of their leaders had resorted to. It will do them good to actually go in for talks. But how far the talk will succeed is a matter which time will tell. In my analysis, no talk is going to yield any kind of result, favorable or unfavorable, one. Number two, if at all there is going to be any kind of outcome or some kind of a result, it is going to be fraught with a frequent collapse of the understanding. Why am I saying is that if the root causes of acrimony and the grievances are not addressed, of any stakeholder. Let's say, for example, Tehrik Taliban Pakistan. Their primary reason is that they have got antagonized against Pakistan administration because it is Pakistan which nurtured them, brought them up from madrasas and nourished them and groomed them to become Taliban, to fight against the US. It is same Pakistan which actually decimated them between 2001 to 2021 in the corridors of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And also, if you take your mind back to 2007, in the Lal Chowk incident, so many students of Taliban or the Pashtuns, they were killed in the masjid by bombardment and heavy engagement of the heavy platforms, Air Force as well as artillery. So such are the issues which cannot be easily forgotten by the Taliban. Their existence is in question. Their demands are only threefold. The Durand line should be lifted. There is no boundary. It has got no legal sanctity. Number two, Sharia law should be applied and implemented all over Pakistan. And third is they do not trust and respect the administration, Pakistani administration. They want to have the parallel government. They've successfully implemented in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, going by the open source intelligence and the report, and they want to spread it to elsewhere in Pakistan, in other 3 or 4 provinces. So these are the demands. Whether it will actually bring them to some kind of a negotiation or not, but the primary issue in your question actually were pointing towards what are the stumbling blocks that actually led them to collapse of the talks, and which are the potential challenges for longevity of any kind of understanding. The stumbling blocks as of today is that the American drones will be allowed to fly over Afghanistan for any kind of task, could be military, could be non-military, from the flying bases which are existing in Pakistan. That is number one. And number two, ISIS Khorasan, which is a global terrorist organization, should not be allowed to operate from the soil, from the land of Afghanistan. These are two issues because of which the talks had collapsed based on a telephone call which came from Pakistan. It went to Istanbul. Otherwise, I think both the parties, they had come to some kind of an understanding mutually, resorting to give and take. And if they can actually take recourse to those kind of understanding, then perhaps it will take them to a very fruitful and positive outcome.
Yes.
Afghanistan, as on today, does not want any conflict with anyone. They want to focus on the socio-economic development of the country. Pakistan is in a quandary. It doesn't know which side to look and which side to go. Back to you, Aswani.
That is very interesting. Always great learning from you, Major General Sudhakarji. Thank you for joining us and sharing that insight. Now we move on to our next news. The Pentagon's chief U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has arrived in Kuala Lumpur to attend the 12th ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting, where he will hold bilateral talks with ASEAN counterparts ahead of his departure for Hanoi on November 2nd. Meanwhile, Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun is set to participate in the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting plus and the China-ASEAN Defense Ministers informal meeting. Dong will deliver key speeches on the history of the ADMM Plus and future China-ASEAN defense cooperation. In a significant development, Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh is expected to meet U.S. Secretary Hegseth during the ASEAN defense talks. This will mark their first in-person meeting following a telephonic conversation earlier this year, aimed at bolstering India-U.S. defense ties. And that's a wrap on